Saumya, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Matt.
You are very welcome. Now, Saumya, how long has it been since you first started your course with us?
I started in June last year, so just the end of June. So almost a year and a half now, coming up to a year and a half.
You've come a long way in a year
Yes,
and a half. Do you feel that?
I do. I actually do. I was just reflecting on it, like on the whole of last year.
Yeah,
It it's been a massive year. It's
it
been a
really has.
massive year.
Like, it's quite transformational. I
Yes.
feel like I've known you for longer because I remember when I first met you and I've just seen how much you've grown. And it's like, a year and a half's like this in someone's lifetime, but you've grown so much.
Yes, I feel the same, man. I feel the same. And I can never forget the day I met you.
Yes.
It was the 29th of June.
Oh, wow,
And
that's lovely.
yeah, I can never forget that. It seems like a lifetime ago, even though it's just a year and a half.
So I remember the conversation that we had, and
Hmm.
I remember talking at the event. Share with everyone, where were you in your life at that point, and what were you looking for? What was missing for you at that point of your life when
Hmm.
you found coaching?
I think that's the time when I had just started making my own decisions, to be honest.
Wow.
Because before that, coming from an Indian background and being fairly young, my parents used to make majority of my decisions. So, of course, always in accordance with me, but they would be the leading factor. And I used to be a person where I would gather a lot of information before I would do anything, which would often not happen because I was addicted to gathering information.
Would you get
So,
to the point where you would just gather so much information that you would never make any decisions?
yes, and
Right.
I would ask people for opinion, and everybody would give me contradicting opinions, and I would again not end up doing anything.
Well, that makes it sometimes worse because you get all these
Yes,
different opinions, and you think, oh, well, now I'm less empowered to make a good decision because I have so
exactly.
many black and white views.
Exactly. So I was at that point in my life where I was just starting to feel like maybe I should rely on myself more. And so that's from a personal point. And professionally, I was at a point in my life where I was moving careers. So I was an accountant majority of my adult life. I didn't like accounting at all. I didn't know what I liked. I moved into hospitality for 3 years. Again, literally searching for what I wanted to do. And that's when I came across life coaching. And I didn't know it existed as a field. I literally Googled and I looked up on LinkedIn life coaching and came up with a couple of people, spoke to them, and they mentioned TCI. So I was like, okay. And both of them had studied from TCI. So I was like, okay. I looked up TCI. So I think I was very uncertain, to be honest, Matt. I was very uncertain about what's happening in my life. I I was what, 24, 25 at that time. So I really didn't have much confidence in myself and my decision making more so than anything else. So it was a very interesting period. And then I met you. And the first day, I was like blown away just because I'd gone with no expectations. I'd just gone with let's see what it is, and hopefully it'll turn out to be something. But it was so much more than something. For the first time, nobody asked me, how are you going to do it? Because the message that was conveyed to me on that day is say yes and then figure out the how.
Yeah.
So that made things very easy for me because up till then in my life, anytime I would want to do something, anybody would ask me, so how are you going to do it? And I didn't have answers very often.
Well, that's an important thing to point out that
Yeah,
sometimes we don't know how.
exactly.
Like for example, like Bianca and I, my partner, we're going to have our first child in April.
Oh,
I don't know how that's going to work out, right?
yeah,
But,
yeah,
but not knowing the answer didn't prevent us from having a family. So I think life is organic. Like, we
absolutely.
have to work it out. And sometimes we work it out through a mentor, which is wisdom, and sometimes we work it out through experience. But if we always need to know exactly how we're going to do something, then we just won't do anything, right? We'll hold ourselves back.
Absolutely. Absolutely bang on. And that's the one thing that stuck with me the most because for the first time, I wasn't asked how. I was just really encouraged to do something that I really wanted to do somewhere deep down. And the certainty was awesome that we know the how. We'll show you the how if you are willing to take consistent action. So I was like, okay, I can do that. All I have to do is say yes and take action and be consistent. And I have someone to help me through that period. So that was really, it was the first time I felt that way in my life, which made it easier for me from thereafter. So it's like, that's when I wouldn't say I was like a really low point in my life, but I was very uncertain. And that's where I started to build that certainty within myself, within the people that I wanted to build certainty with, and just explored coaching, which is something I didn't know much about, but I loved it. I'm so glad I loved it.
I also remember you ended up getting the test results back and you were in the clear. I remember that. I remember the moment when you came up to me and you were like, I got the positive results, it's all good. And I was just like, this is so perfect for you. You got these positive results, you're starting your journey as a coach. Like,
yes, absolutely, Matt. It was, that whole weekend was such a roller coaster because of that, because I really wanted to do this. I wanted to take the leap. And then I was like, oh my God, if my results come with something, something is actually going on in my brain, then how am I going to do this? And I remember thinking this as well. And I think I shared with the room at that time that I had spent so much of my time, like I had actually spent 10, 11 months just thinking of moving out of accounting into something. And mostly people told me, but you've got such a good job. It's so stable. Right. It is known. It's socially accepted. And you're moving into something that is not regulated, that is not established, all of that. And it took me 10 months to make the final decision. And that moment, I was like, no, I'm not wasting another year on not making a decision, because if these test results come the other way, I'm going to regret it. I'm going to regret spending so much time. So I think the timing of that test results and the MRI was so important in helping me, because I could see that life could just be really short if we don't make the most of it. So might as well just start making the most of it today. You never know what regrets one can have.
It's so well said, and it's so wise that so many times we can hold ourselves back because we're afraid of what's going to happen. But every now and then something will happen with health, or someone dies that's close to us, and I think sometimes it shakes us up and we think, okay, all right, you know what, life isn't as guaranteed as I think it is.
Absolutely.
And I love, there's this saying that I got from Jim Collins. I saw him speak in live, and someone said, do you believe in luck? And he said, well, yes, I do. And I think one of the biggest things to be lucky for and grateful for is that we're alive. I think it's lucky that you're here.
Yeah.
And he calls it return on luck. So he says, so it's like, if you're lucky enough to be alive, like, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to live your best life, or are you going to worry about what could go wrong and then not live a life at all?
That is really cool. That is actually really cool. Bang on. Yeah. Absolutely. And we are lucky to be alive, and especially considering this year and how massive it's been with COVID and the pandemic. Like, it's so relevant. And this year, that's what, like, I feel like the timing of everything has been so perfect for me to get into this just before the pandemic hit, before I started discovering myself. And like, I love this year, to be honest, from not in in a wrong way, but I was so grateful in this year for having the things and leading up to where I was and making the decisions that I did in the process.
Yes.
And being in that space wherein I could really just give back to people, because this is where people needed the most support.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Now, you are in a coaching business. You've built your business up to about part-time coaching at the moment, which is fantastic. You've got paying clients. What do you love about the reality that you're living your dream? You know what I mean? You're doing what you said you wanted to do when we first met. You're now coaching people. You're getting paid to do it. You get to do it from everyone's doing it from home right now, but you're doing it from home. What do you just love about that?
Oh, what do I love about that? I love the fact that I get to do what I'm doing, that I am able to create this life that I wanted to, which I didn't think was actually possible, to be honest. It's over time that I've built that confidence within myself, over time that I've seen things come to reality. So if I actually thought that where I am today, I wanted that on day one or after month one, I knew I couldn't have it and I could have just left everything. But I think just it means that anything is possible. It means that once I put my energy towards something, once I put my thoughts and I ask the right questions, which is something that I've learned through this industry, through TCI, through mentors and coaches so much, that it's so important to ask the right questions. It's not about what if this doesn't happen, but it's about how can we make this happen. So just with that mindset, it's been amazing. And I mean, I'm literally working from home. Even if the pandemic had not hit, I would be working from home without any interruptions for the last, I don't know how many months. And I'm looking to do that for the next, I don't know how many years, irrespective of anything that's happening. And I am the sole person that is responsible. And it feels empowering. It feels like I'm answerable to myself, yes. But at the same time, nobody is telling me what to do against my wishes. And I have the freedom, the flexibility to do whatever I want. If I need to take a holiday, I can do that. If I want to scale back a bit, can do that. If I want to take on 10 more clients, I can do that. Like everything is a possibility right now. So it's just amazing. And to be able to have this at this age and stage in my life, it's even better.
It really is. Congratulations. You're a young woman who's taken control of her life and created the life that you want. And I just love how empowered you are and how passionate you are to say, you know what, this is my life. I'm responsible for it. I'm creating it. And also, I'm just so happy for you that you're getting the results that you want. And I look forward to the rest of the success that you create, right, over the next however long you're in coaching for, probably for the rest of our lives. But congratulations. What would you say to someone who is watching this and they're inspired by your story and they're considering taking their own first step towards becoming a successful coach and joining the Coaching Institute?
I would say to them that have more faith in yourself, trust yourself more, say yes, because the how is absolutely taken care of. Like I can vouch for it. The how is taken care of. Have that courage and always know that you can do more than you think you can do. So just go for it, because there is going to be the first time. It's always going to be a first time for something or the other. So if you've not done something like this before, this is all the more the reason for you to go for it, because you have not done this before. And the journey thereafter is going to be in your hands with everybody's support that needs to be there for you. So like coming straight from the heart and from my own experience, go for it. Even if you are not 100% sure, go for it, because this is the first time you'll be doing something for yourself properly. And that is very important. That is very, very important.
Thank you so much, Saumya. Lovely connecting with you.
Thank you so much, Matt.